Hi, and welcome to We Are Polymer video. And we're a digital marketing agency that specializes in Amazon. And I'm joined today, I'm Gary Reed, by the way, I'm the founder and CEO at We Are Polymer. And I'm joined by Jen Grant, who's our head of performance, who looks after PPC, Amazon, paid social, and also for Lucy McNeil, who is the paid media director. And today we're going to just discuss some points around Amazon and how it can help you. And so one of the things that comes up all the time is really, why is Amazon so important to retailers right now? So, you know, what's your sort of thoughts on that and why it's so important to people?
So I think one reason why Amazon is really becoming more and more important to retailers is the fact that a lot of customers start their journey on Amazon now, more so than Google. Obviously, in the last few years, Amazon use has become more and more prominent, especially sort of in the UK and as well across the US. And around 60% of users now start their product searches on Amazon. So if a user is sort of primed and ready to buy, they might not even go onto Google. They might go straight into the Amazon app where they know that they can buy a product. So if you're sort of not appearing on that platform and you are an e-commerce brand and you've got products that you can sell, you're potentially missing out on an opportunity to sell some of your products by not appearing on Amazon.
It's crazy. 60% start their search. I mean, you can imagine Google getting really worried about that. And I think that's probably the other thing as well. I mean, just from our clients, Google's becoming more difficult, I think, for people to grow. I don't know whether that's Performance Max or everything else, but it just seems much more difficult now with competition. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think competition's definitely a massive factor. I think obviously when it comes to Google, there's so many industries that it's relevant for. Whereas when it comes to Amazon at the moment, you know, it's a bit more specialist in that you have to be an Amazon vendor to be able to benefit from the kind of Amazon ads platform. And within that, you know, the statistics are still quite interesting in that there's only 75% of kind of Amazon sellers that actually utilize the advertising platform. So it's not even like 100%, you know, of the people that sell on Amazon are actually also doing ads alongside that. So there's a lot more opportunity, I guess, within Amazon for retailers that, you know, are product focused and aren't necessarily within like the service industry, which, you know, you're also competing against when it comes to Google ads.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well, because I think it sort of makes, it's going to make CPCs much cheaper because the competition's not there. But it sounds like people are starting to pick up, because I know you guys shared some info this morning where I think it was something like 27% increase in ad spend on Amazon in the last 12 months compared to, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, I think it was 15% on Google. So it's definitely outstripping Google as far as where new ad budget is going.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I guess that's been the case as well since, you know, obviously Amazon ads is a much newer kind of platform in itself compared to the likes of Google and Microsoft. I guess it really took off in kind of like 2018 versus, you know, Google, which kind of took off a lot earlier. So yeah, obviously it was helped a lot by kind of COVID and, you know, people doing a lot more online shopping during that period. So I think that's where businesses kind of really locked on as to how beneficial it can be to use Amazon ads as a platform for their marketing, and obviously started investing kind of more and more when it saw the returns that it can offer, and the types of, you know, ROAS and revenue you can get from Amazon versus the other platforms as well.
Absolutely. And I know when we look at Amazon for clients, or when we put together proposals for clients, one of the things that you see quite often is that brands will piggyback and actually steal traffic away from brands that aren't advertising on Amazon. So, you know, if you've got a brand with any sort of traction and people are searching from you, it's probably some of it is getting siphoned away to other brands. So it is an opportunity to go in and take market share from people, I guess, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's part of the difference as well as to how people search on Amazon. I guess, like Jen was saying, you know, a lot of people start their search on Amazon, but a lot of that is people, you know, even being out and about and wanting to compare prices and look at different brands and what's available. And that definitely feeds into, you know, how people can use the ads platform to, you know, pick up on that competition or on other brands as well, and be able to have a really effective strategy based on that.
And you said one word earlier on, vendor, and that sort of made me think of the different ways that you can actually become an Amazon. So it's not just straightforward, just let's open an account like Google, you open an ads account, you start putting ads on. There's different ways of doing it. And I think people get really confused about what those different options are. I mean, could you give us a, I don't know, 60-second rundown on what the main options are and what the differences are?
Yeah, I guess this is probably Jen. I know she's written her blog on it before, so she's
I can
very much knows the differences.
I can take this one. So yeah, as you said, Gary, there's two sort of main types of selling accounts. So there's Seller Central or there is Vendor Central. So the main difference between the two is to use Vendor Central, you actually have to be invited by Amazon to use the platform, whereas Seller Central is kind of open to anyone. So with Vendor Central, Amazon will, if you're already kind of selling products on the platform, they'll reach out to you. They will kind of directly manage, they'll order products from you directly in bulk, and then they will manage like the shipping and the fulfillment of those products, because they'll have a bulk of those products kind of in their warehouse ready to go. It also means that they'll have control over the pricing. So if they want to suddenly sort of start discounting your products, that's totally within their like means to do that. And I think if you want to run discounts on your products, you kind of run that by Amazon in order to kind of get that approved as well. So we've had that situation with a couple of clients sort of over Black Friday last year. The offers that they wanted to run were sort of submitted to Amazon or decided with Amazon before they were actually kind of pushed through the platform and actually changed on the SKUs. So that's Vendor Central, and the other option is Seller Central. So Seller Central is anyone can sign up for a Seller Central account. You just have to make sure that your brand is registered with the Amazon brand registry. So that's just a case of filling in a few forms, sending off some business documents to prove that you're a legitimate business.
And do you need a registered trademark to do that for your business to register in there?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
right.
You do. Because you will have to submit that, and you'll have to submit some documents that have that sort of trademark on them to prove that you are a legitimate sort of seller.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's two within sort of Seller Central. There's a couple of options. So you can either sign up as an individual. So if you're selling sort of less than 35 products a month, you might want to go down that route, or you can sign up as a professional seller. So typically that's what we will obviously encourage clients to do. And the cost of that is £25 per month, and then you're charged a referral fee for each item sold. So if you're selling more than 35 products, it's a no-brainer really to kind of get that access to sort of extra features that Seller Central provides. So yeah, I think I'd say most people generally probably starting out, and especially small businesses, are probably using the Seller Center. There's a lot of different features in there that depending on how familiar you are with Amazon, you may or may not be aware of, but it's a place where you can obviously upload all of your product inventory, you can change prices, you can add A+ content.
How easy is it to use that system and get reports out of it and things like that?
Oh, great question. I would say you definitely need to sort of use it a bit and find your way around the platform. Reporting is notoriously difficult out of the Amazon platform, not so much through Seller Central, more through Amazon ads. But basically, within Amazon ads, you can't download all of your account data in one go. You kind of have to download separate reports for your sponsored product campaigns, separate reports for your sponsored brand campaigns, and then if you're doing any sort of sponsored display, that's separate as well. So you tend to have to go in individually, download a lot of different reports, and then sort of combine them together in an Excel sheet or kind of on your back end. Obviously, for our clients, we have Looker Studio reports, and we have our own sort of internal tech. So that takes all of those bits of data and different reports from different sources. We combine them in our back end, and then we push them out to Looker Studio. So that makes the whole process much, much quicker. But if you're just trying to download reports, you'd have to go into Vendor Central or Seller Central, then into your Amazon Ads account, get them all in separate files, and then kind of manually combine them together. So it's definitely pretty time consuming to do that. And then obviously it doesn't sort of end there. Once you've downloaded the reports, you actually want to use that information to go in and make changes to your accounts, make optimizations. You might want to change like titles of products in Seller Central. So you have to do a lot of work before you can even get to the bit that is going to actually add the value, which is what you do off the back of that data.
I mean, the short answer is definitely clunky. And yeah, it sounds like if you didn't have something like our system, if you weren't doing that, you'd be spending all of your day basically downloading reports and combining them into a spreadsheet and trying to do, VLOOKUPs on all that data, which would then lead you, like you say, leave you with very little time to actually do the work that counts, which is optimizing those accounts. And so you mentioned titles, product titles and things like that. How important is it to have sort of well-formed product titles and product descriptions, and what are the different options? Because obviously, generally on Google, it's become much more complicated now within the amount of different titles that you can have. But is there more to Amazon and the product sort of settings?
Sorry, I don't know, Lucy, if you want to take this one. You want me to?
Yeah,
Lucy,
I guess
you could.
I guess starting with the first question, it's very important the way that those products are set up on Amazon, and I think it definitely is worth investing time in that kind of initial setup that you're doing with Seller Central, or whether it be Vendor Central, whichever kind of route you go down, because the way those products and the content that you apply is set up is definitely going to play a massive part in how your how the kind of products are able to perform on Amazon, whether it be organically or through paid. It's kind of exactly the same, I guess, through either. It plays a huge role, and I think when it comes to the content that we're referring to, it's not only the product titles, it's also the descriptions that are applied on each and every product. It's the A+ content that you can also apply.
All right, tell us about A+ content. What's that? What does that mean?
The scary A+ content.
It sounds it.
Yeah, it's essentially just a way for sellers to be able to apply more detail for their products. So not only can you have like high quality images applied, which can be really product specific, but also more kind of branded as well, to give users, I guess, a real feel for what your brand offers, and kind of comparative products as well that you offer to the one that they're looking at on Amazon. But it also allows you to have text alongside, so you can really detail information about individual products, but again about your brand and your kind of brand story, so that users again get a great feel of where they're buying from before they even purchase a product, and it massively benefits conversion rates. So yeah, Amazon claims I guess that A+ content helps increase sales by 20% versus those that don't use A+ content, and you can see it when you're browsing on Amazon yourself. If you're getting much more detail on that page that you land on, you are more likely to convert because you've seen more information, you've got a feel for the brand, any USPs are included, things like what that product's made from, what that business is offering as a whole. You're able to get all of that information within just one landing page, which is great, and definitely beneficial. When it comes to things like return rates as well, you'll see them massively decrease if you've got A+ content to offer for your products.
And how important are return rates? Because that can cause problems if you've got high return rates. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've seen it with some of our clients where you're getting customer complaints, people are returning your goods, you're then not able to even advertise your products through the kind of paid platform because you haven't got what they call this buy box enabled on any of your products. So people can't, well, they can purchase your products, but it's a real struggle to. And if you have been kind of disapproved by Amazon, they actually can't purchase any of your products because you've kind of been disapproved as a whole.
I think that's
so
one
definitely
area.
Something. Yeah, sorry, Jen, go on.
There's probably one area where Amazon is slightly different from Google within like the shopping experience. I think Amazon do actually really care about having like legitimate sellers where people can find all the information they need and they can easily buy a product. So there are various like health check things in Seller Central. So one is order defect rate. So if you get customer complaints and that pushes your order defect rate above 1%, that can cause what Lucy mentioned, which is you're no longer eligible for the buy box and your products can't appear. And 1%, if you're a small business, is actually
it's
not
much,
that many orders.
No.
It might only be 1 or 2 if you're only sort of selling 40 products a week on Amazon. So it's super, super important to make sure that, if customers are asking, sort of asking you things and they're getting in touch with your customer service team, it's really important that you're actually answering those queries. If a delivery doesn't turn up, that you're getting back to customers and letting them know where it is, because otherwise you will be penalized by Amazon and you won't be able to sort of sell your products.
Yeah, that's that is pretty tough.
I guess the whole thing as well works in like a bit of a circular motion, in that if you can provide that high quality content from the off, even whether it just be, with your titles and your descriptions and your images that you're putting against all of your products, and then, working towards that A+ content as a secondary goal, not only does it obviously improve your conversion rates and that sales volume you're seeing, as well as reduce, the returns and those negative reviews, because you can't forget how important reviews can be, on Amazon as well. That obviously plays a massive part in that kind of whole process as well, and being able to have that available for people to be able to see before they're purchasing your products, reduces obviously the returns, but also increases the repeat purchases from those users, because they will come back and find your brand on Amazon, and they will continue to purchase from you. They'll continue to write positive reviews and get those products being more visible across Amazon as a whole.
So it sort of sounds as though there's quite a few things that you've got to check on, other than just, you know, how the ads are doing and, you know, how many clicks, how many sales, you know, what the pricey CPCs are. There's a lot more to Amazon than there would be on, say, Google platform. So has our sort of alert system been useful in sort of highlighting when any of those things happen, so that we get, you know, we're on the front foot and we can do something about it more quickly?
Oh yeah, 100%. So we've got alerts set up in the background, so they flag things like if your order defect rate is above 1%, that'll come through as like a critical warning. Those alerts will update daily, so all the team has to do is go in and sort of search on that dashboard to see those alerts. But it will also flag things like negative customer reviews, products going out of stock, which can also be something Amazon penalizes you for if you don't have stock of your products.
Yeah,
listing disapprovals, late shipping rate warnings, there is also like a general sort of account health score that we can see on the back end. So yeah, I think it'll probably something that does really limit Amazon advertisers in terms of the people running the ads is if they don't have access to Seller Central or Vendor Central, they're really only seeing half of the picture. If you don't have access to those platforms, you've got no idea if a product is going out of stock, or if you're getting hit by one of these health check issues.
So basically we download the Amazon data in the same way we do with Google, put it into BigQuery, and then we run our queries on that every morning, so that those alerts come up. And it's all of that stuff, which, like you say, isn't that easily available, I guess. That's sort of the bottom line on that.
Yeah, I guess sorry, Jen. This is the problem with Zoom.
Go on, you go, Lucy.
I was just going to say, obviously, the platforms themselves are also, you know, slightly less advanced than you see across the other platforms, from, you know, Google and Microsoft to Meta as well. So I think having that and having us be able to manipulate that data and information and get what you need to be able to run the ads, but also the notifications, obviously, that you get in terms of those kind of Seller Central sides as well, helps massively to run things effectively. Because the platforms are slightly less advanced. So yeah, to be able to get that additional information in the way that you can easily digest it and make effective changes for not only, you know, the paid campaigns, but also the listings themselves, is hugely beneficial. Yeah.
And one of the things that sort of would be interesting, how do you actually set ads up? And just that, you know, we've been on keywords in the Amazon platform, and is it keywords in the same way we would understand it in the Google system or Bing or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, much the same way, I guess. I think, you know, one thing to note with Amazon is, I guess, people do search differently within Amazon than they do within Google and across other search engines. So it is important to see it and strategize like any ads that you're running and any campaigns in a different way than you do across the other platforms, because, you know, it is different.
Is it sort of less, there's less words, there's less verbose, people don't put sentences into Amazon, it's more product types, product categories, product names, that or even maybe product attributes, I guess, as well, in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get less of, you know, that kind of conversational searching, and I guess that also plays into why it's so effective at the moment, as people, you know, are searching in a different way, and you're picking up a lot of traffic across the other platforms that is, you know, more question orientated or more conversational, focused. On Amazon, you don't really get that. It's people looking obviously for specific products, for different brands, and yeah, that definitely plays into how you would structure your campaigns if you're running paid ads. So yeah, there are tools obviously that you can use, similar to like the Google keyword planner, where you can see search volume around relevant queries across Amazon, and that's, you know, hugely useful when you're starting out thinking about what you should be bidding on, I guess, across Amazon. So that's definitely a good place to start. Obviously, if you are running paid ads on other platforms, you can take insights from what you see across keywords on the likes of Google and Microsoft as well, and you can feed that into your structure on Amazon, because, you know, some of them will cross over in terms of those keywords. You can also bid slightly differently, I guess, on Amazon compared to some of the other platforms. So you
Do you mean like bid strategies? Because I mean, Google's sort of gone crazy on bid strategies. You know, it's
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
absolutely. I guess it's also bid strategies, but also when it comes to your campaign targeting. So you can use keywords, but you can also use things like products or more general like categories, or even what Amazon defines as like auto targeting, which is kind of a bit broader than starting out with specific keywords you want to focus on. So it helps if you're not fully sure where to start, or if you don't have the kind of search volume you want. You can use these types of kind of strategies to get started, and then you can refine it from there, basically. So where you see stronger performance or higher volume, you can then focus in on bidding on those specific keywords, and really kind of see what works for the individual business.
Yeah, I guess similarly to Google activity, when you're looking at keywords, it's really important to look at the search terms that are actually coming through and making sure that you're optimizing those campaigns. So even on Amazon, if you're not targeting keywords, if you're targeting like ASINs or you're auto targeting, making sure you're sort of looking at the search terms that you're matching to is really important, and making sure you're kind of negating anything that's not relevant that you might be matching to, or maybe you're adding a specific term back into your campaigns as a keyword that you actively want to bid on that's getting a lot of traffic, is really useful. And I think from those reports, if you are getting a lot of irrelevant traffic coming through, it's probably a good idea to then have a look at your actual product listings, which again isn't in the ads platform. It would mean going back into your seller or vendor central. But it might be that actually, okay, you need to be updating your product titles because they don't have enough information in them, like the size of the product or the color, or you need to go and update your product descriptions, because actually whatever your product is matching to that someone is searching for, those two things aren't lining up. And I suppose this comes back around to what Lucy was talking about earlier, with making sure you've got all that A+ content on there, making sure that your products are kind of retail ready, you've got lots of reviews. All of these things really help to feed into the ads performance. And if you don't kind of have that really good base to start with on the sort of organic side with the listings, you probably don't want to start pushing money behind ads, because it's just not going to work, well, not effectively anyway.
And yeah, you said retail ready there, and that's sort of Amazon's way of saying that's the minimum criteria that you've got to hit before you can put ad budget behind a set of products. Roughly, what does that mean? Is that reviews? Is it sales? Or
so multiple different factors come into a product being retail ready. So a few things are really important. So one is the product titles. So having things like color and size, having your brand name, having a really clear description of what sort of the product is concisely within that title. Then it moves on to product descriptions. So having kind of detailed and accurate descriptions that kind of highlight your key selling points, the key features of the products and the benefits. It's normally recommended that those are kind of bullet pointed, so they're really, really clear for a user to see what is important. High quality images are another thing that are really important on Amazon. So it's definitely worth making sure that you've got images of your products uploaded to the platform. More than one image as well is definitely recommended. So I think as your main image, it has to be just a product on a white background. But if you do have anything like any sort of video content that showcases your product, or a lot of sellers will have an image of their product, and if it's like a bag, for example, they'll have an overlay of sort of the dimensions, so you can really clearly see, you know, how big is the product, how big is a product compared to like a person, to give it a bit more sort of context.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it's the Amazon product, isn't it? We've all got it either something really small or really big when you had no idea it was going to be that. But yeah, it's so useful, I think, having those measurements on. So yeah, I'm sort of glad they're pushing people to do that. Stops me from ordering the wrong thing.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I think the video is also a key one as well. Like you said, Jen, that can be massively beneficial. And also I think it gives people, again, more of an idea, especially if you're using it more of like a lifestyle video, or even a lifestyle image where people can actually see it in kind of use. So you get a much better idea of what you're purchasing, and zoomable images if possible.
Okay, yes, so that does mean high quality.
I don't know if zoomable is the word, but
I think it is now. But no, I'm sure it is. Yeah, but yeah, I think you're right.
See those details in more, or they're more visible, I guess, if you're able to dynamically change the image yourself when you're searching.
And I guess this goes back to what you were saying earlier, Lucy, like all of these things and having a retail ready product really help to reduce the number of returns that you're going to get. You know, if you know the dimensions of the product before you buy it, you're probably going to be happy with that. Hopefully you're happy with it when it does turn up. So yeah, if you can reduce returns, obviously for the bottom line for businesses who are trying to sell products, we're trying to make profit by selling on Amazon. So the more you can reduce that, the better, really. But yeah, I guess kind of circling back to being retail ready, there's a few more bits that are recommended.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, we definitely went off track there.
So another one is customer reviews. So Amazon suggests that you have sort of 15 reviews per product for it to be considered retail ready, and that's per individual SKU. So
that's sounds like quite a lot, actually, 15, if you were just getting started on Amazon. So that means you've got to do some organic selling before you start running ads then.
Yeah, ideally, yes. And we have had a situation where a client has sort of re-uploaded their products under different SKUs, and we did see an impact when suddenly those historic reviews and all that data was kind of lost, and they did have to start again and build that back up. So it definitely does make a difference. I think I've seen a stat somewhere where it was like 90% of users will only purchase after seeing a review. So I think if you're like an unknown business or a smaller business which doesn't have that sort of brand recognition, and you've got a product but it doesn't have any reviews, people might think twice about purchasing. Whereas if you've got like 10 reviews on there, people go, okay, I know other people have bought this, they've had a great experience, I'll risk it and I'll add that to my basket and check out. So it definitely does help to have reviews.
Anything else on retail ready then, or is that those sort of the main things?
I suppose the next thing, which we've discussed in a lot of detail already, would be that A+ content. So answering customer questions before they're sort of coming through, before they're purchasing, having your FAQs, having a bit of a brand story on the product detail page already helps to kind of be considered retail ready. And also your sort of star rating. So I think Amazon says you need to have a star rating of 3.5 or above is sort of recommended. So if you're not hitting that customer rating, is definitely worth, you know, looking at your product reviews, looking at your customer feedback. Why are you getting not a 4 or a 5-star review? You know, is there any changes that you can make to a product to kind of improve that? And I think that's probably one of the really good points about selling on Amazon, is you get that direct feedback every time a customer makes a purchase, obviously if they go and leave a review. So you can actually use that information to go away and make changes to your products and potentially improve your product offering, which actually just selling from your own website, you don't always get that sort of feedback directly from your customers. So I think that can be another really beneficial reason to sell on Amazon, to get that feedback.
Yeah. Okay, that was great. Really good, really useful. I think I've learned a lot about Amazon anyway in the last 45 minutes. So I'd just like to say thanks. And look, if there's anybody out there, anybody watching who wants to get on board with Amazon and see what it can do for them, just get in touch. The email address is up on screen right now, so you can get in touch with us or visit our website, which is WRP.team, and get in touch with us through that. You know, we'd love to work with you, and we can put together a short action plan on how we think you could approach Amazon. So thanks. See you soon.